Salam alaikum. Well, since 2002, as a Minister of France, and now as the President of the Delegation for Relations with Arabic Peninsula in the European Parliament, I got to know your country, to know its culture, its traditions, and its aspiration better. I appreciate particularly the balance masterfully built by His Majesty the Sultan Qaboos between an exceptional heritage and clearly asserted modernity. So it is for me really a real pleasure to be here for the Vision 2040. It's important for me, no, first it's important for you, but it's important for me, and I think it's important also for all your guests from other countries. Why? For many reasons. First of all, because we share the same questions regarding the future of our societies. Our countries are all affected by the same problematic, like climate change, health, insecurity, youth. Also, with globalization, economic and political interdependencies are becoming more numerous. And with the rise of information technology, cultural exchanges are multiplying. The 2040 visions aims to preparing the country for the numerous international challenges of the next decades, and thus allowed it to find a place in tomorrow's international order. The participation of Omani citizens is fundamental to accomplish this vision. The Omanese authorities have understood it for a long time. The blessed Renaissance, initiated 48 years ago, enabled many advances in multiple areas. Indeed, it was precisely relying on the will to strengthen the principles of justice and equality between members of society. In that respect, what seemed interesting to me in the 2040 vision are the three following pillars. First, maintaining the balance between tradition and modernity. Oman has many resources and assets. Its singular geographical position, the diversity of its wildlife and natural landscapes, its history, its culture, its architecture, of which the opera represents for me the outstanding example, and its value, such as tolerance, the role of family, the respect for elders, or the hospitality for foreigners. In front of globalization, Oman must not seek to erase this heritage. It makes the country attractive for tourists, but not only, also for investors. It constitutes really a basis for the country's strength and dynamism. Yet, if Oman must evidently keep its values, it also has to adapt, like all other countries, and to ever-changing and ever-growing international standards. The modernization of infrastructures, the economic diversification, the development of tourism, the modernization of healthcare system, the adaptation of education and welfare systems are all part of the goals of the 2040 vision. It is really essential to develop research and innovation in order to encourage digitalization and the use of technologies. This means strongly investing on training the youth. Developing their skills will provide a competitive workforce and the cutting edge of technology. In the face of globalization, 4 requirements are shared by all countries. First, the development of a qualitative and accessible educative system starting from basic education, and it's very, very important. I can say, as a former Minister of Education in France too, to higher education, which is normal. The training for doctors and researchers, the development of scientific competencies, the exchange with universities and research centers in other countries. Europe, France, but Europe generally, is ready to intensify its relations with Oman in all of these domains. And I think it's very important to understand that. We need each other. It's not only for Oman, it's also for us, because we have also something to learn from you. At the same time, it's important to maintain the balance between individual liberties and the sense of community. That is probably the main challenge we have all to face. The 2040 vision aims to involve all actors of Oman's society. It has to give them the responsibilities and mean to express their energy, creativity, and dynamism. With these liberties, individuals will find the motivation, and it's important, the motivation to participate in the project that will lead to Oman's success. Among new freedom, the use of social network has become an inescapable reality. Whether you like them or not, they are part of our societies and our lives. Correctly used, they are a great source of information to understand the aspiration, and particularly the aspiration of the youth and the aspiration of society. Misused, they can represent also a threat. Hence, solutions have to be found to protect ourselves against the phenomenon of fake news, increasingly linked to social media, and potentially corrupting the apprehension of reality and multiplying the fervent follower of conspiracy theories. That is a problem for each of us, for each government, for each member of society. It's a problem we have in common, and I think we have to work on it together. Of course, as a French and European, I cannot talk about individual liberties without mentioning women's rights. Sorry, men. In Oman, women represent a growing part of the society. Everywhere in Oman, in France, in all countries, they educate young children, they transmit values, they take care of life and family. But also now they have an increasing social role outside the family circle. They are working as researchers, teachers, politicians, entrepreneurs, doctors, and so on. Their economic role is more and more important. It has to be acknowledged and encouraged by the implementation of the 2040 vision. Globalization and new technologies tend to push us towards individualism and inward-looking attitudes. To avoid it, we need to learn from countries like Oman, where solidarity is a value rooted in mentalities and who have succeeded, despite current trends, to protect the central part of the sense of community. The Omani social systems has a notable feature of covering both national and resident. Developing the social system through the Vision 2040 is a means to bring the community, Omani system, and foreigners even closer. Moreover, I have always been struck by the solidarity surrounding the value of family in Oman. In Oman, an orphan will always live with a foster family. He will never be left alone or placed in institution, like generally in Europe. For the elderly people, too, to have a kind of solidarity that we lost in our countries. Lastly, one of your assets is the balance between national pride and openness to others. Oman is right to be proud of itself and its specificities. Maintaining and developing the national sentiment is motivating for the citizens. Thus, the slogan of the 2040 vision, moving forward with confidence, yes, was, from my point of view, perfectly chosen. But how to develop this confidence? I think education is a means to strengthen citizenship and identity. By sharing the national pride through schools' curriculum, by educating citizens to the importance of identity and cultural heritage through the initiative of civil societies. Cultural diplomacy enables international influence, but also national pride. And I think that Muscat, capital city of Arab culture in 2006, capital city of Arab tourism in 2012, are good examples. At last but not least, the government initiatives, I think, have to be encouraged so that the use of modern technology enables a better knowledge and understanding of the Omani heritage. National pride does not equate with self-withdrawal. To the contrary, it has to help people to open up more easily to others, to be able to talk to everyone. Oman's values of tolerance and neutrality are far from being new. They have existed for a very long time. These values are an asset that cannot only allow for closer interaction with other societies, but also for positioning itself as a privileged interlocutor and a mediator in the international system. And maybe unfortunately, there are many opportunities, whether regionally, for example, in the GCC crisis, it's a reality, and in the civil war in Yemen. There are also opportunities more broadly to make the voice of wisdom heard by certain great power. And I say no name. The stability acquired by Oman is cherished by Omanis. But the 2040 visions brings new roads for Oman to contribute to the construction of a future of happiness and prosperity for citizens, of stability and peace for the country, for the region, and for the world. Thank you.